Hello and welcome back to the Brad TP channel, and today I want you to just sit down and think of what life could look like in 100 years time. Will we even still be here? Will we finally have flying cars, and will robots have taken over the world? Or will some madman have just blown us all up? Who knows? But one thing is for certain, football will still exist in some way, shape or form, and I can prove that by showing you today what football will look like in the year 21-23. Let's have a look. But before we get into the video, as always, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all your Football Manager content, and leave a comment down below what sort of content you want to see in the near future. Let's get back to the video. So many questions that we have the answers for. Who has won the Premier League the most times? Did someone finally knock Manchester City off their perch? Well, I can tell you that Manchester City won 28 Premier League titles out of 100. In second place was Arsenal with 18 Premier League titles. Chelsea won 16, Manchester United won 9, Leeds won 8 Premier League titles. Leeds, they've become one of the new Big Six because Tottenham aren't near this list. Liverpool won 6 Premier League titles. Newcastle won 4, but they were slowly pushing towards the end. But Tottenham, they managed to win 5. And here's the interesting ones. Ipswich, Brentford and Bournemouth all won 2 Premier League titles. That's crazy. Ipswich have only just got back to the Premier League for the first time in years. They won 2 Premier League titles, as did Brentford and as did Bournemouth. Some record breakers. Chelsea managed to get a 101-point season. Middlesbrough managed to break Derby's record and become the worst team in Premier League history, only picking up 8 points and going 35 games without a win. Absolutely unbelievable by Middlesbrough. Never want to see them in the Premier League ever again. Some fun facts. Newcastle actually managed to win the league in 2041 with only 71 points. 71 points, won a Premier League title in 2041. Absolutely unbelievable. Chelsea, despite actually being the team with the most points tally in Premier League history, actually got relegated in 2099, becoming only one of the Big Six to be relegated in this save. Chelsea were the only team out of those teams to get relegated. And as for the surprise teams in the Premier League, Shrewsbury, Walsall, Wrexham and Tranmere all were in the Premier League at some stage. This on the screen right now is the craziest bottom 4 you will ever see in a Premier League. Rotherham, Wrexham, Tranmere and Walsall as a bottom 4 in the Premier League. That should just not exist. As for some infrastructure in the Premier League, obviously we will see some stadium changes over the next 100 years. Old Trafford is still the biggest stadium in the country. It actually overtook Wembley. It's 92,000 seater stadium. Arsenal moved into the Gabriel Martinelli Arena, that is a 90,000 capacity stadium, closely followed by the Pep Guardiola Park of Manchester City with 89,000 seats. Birmingham, MK Dons and Hull currently sit in the National League, all with 30,000 seater stadiums. Those 3 teams dropped out of the Football League completely and are in the National League with pretty big stadiums. Moving across Europe to Spain, and I know what you're thinking, Real Madrid probably won all the league titles that you could ever imagine. They actually didn't. Barcelona won 56 La Liga titles in this save, once winning 22 out of 24 available. Real Madrid picking up those other 2. Mental. Barcelona won 56 titles. Real Madrid were second though, but they only managed to win 19 La Liga titles, which is quite still a lot, but very low considering the expectations of Real Madrid. If they'd only won 19 titles in 100 years and they'd let Barcelona win 56, they'd be pretty disappointed. And considering that they were closely followed by Tenerife, who won 16 La Liga titles, and not only that, they actually picked up the biggest points tally in La Liga history, getting 106 points. That Tenerife, 106 points and got 16 La Liga titles. Moving down to Girona, who were 4th for La Liga titles as they won 8, and the only other team to win a La Liga title was Atletico Madrid, who only managed to win 1. Barcelona have the biggest stadium in the world with a 140,000 capacity stadium. Moving on then to Germany, and Bayern Munich obviously won the most titles with 38 Bundesliga titles won by Bayern Munich, but Leipzig weren't too far behind with 28 Bundesliga titles, then followed by Dortmund with 14 Bundesliga titles. Hertha Berlin were up there with 8 Bundesliga titles, closely followed by Freiburg with 7 Bundesliga titles. Cologne managed 3 Bundesliga titles, and Bayer Leverkusen, the last on this list, with 2 Bundesliga titles. Moving on to Italy, Serie A, who has won the Scudetto the most times? AC Milan with 40 Scudettos to their name, closely followed by Juventus with 28. Inter Milan
Internazionale
won 16 Serie A titles, with Lazio getting 7, and Reggiana getting 3 Serie A titles. And not only that, they came in the top 3 23 times. That is unbelievable. I've never even heard of this team, but they won 3 Scudettos and came in the top 3 23 times. Empoli managed to win 2 Serie A titles, while Napoli managed 1 and were the final team in Italy to win a Serie A title. AC Milan and Inter Milan finally separated from the San Siro as Inter Milan moved into the Javier Zanetti Stadium, which boasts a 113,000 capacity seat stadium. Moving on then to the final of the top 5 leagues, the true Farmers League. However, PSG did not beat Barcelona's 56 title wins, as PSG only actually won 4 more than second place. PSG won 34 Ligue 1 titles, and second place goes to Dijon, who won 30 Ligue 1 titles, winning so many towards the end. Amiens won 14 Ligue 1 titles. They're not even in Ligue 1 right now, and they won 14. Monaco were 4th with 11. Toulouse got 4. Lens got 3. Nantes got 2. And Rennes and Nice both got 1 each. So, not maybe the Farmers League that everyone expected from Ligue 1. La Liga actually had the most from one team and had the least amount of different winners. So maybe La Liga is the new Farmers League. Barcelona won the most league titles out of the big 5 leagues, winning 56 La Liga titles. Unbelievable from Barcelona. Moving into the European competitions, the Champions League. Everyone wants to know who's been winning the Champions League. And the winners of the save have done it again. Barcelona won 14 Champions Leagues, closely followed by their Spanish rivals Real Madrid, who won 13 Champions Leagues. Man City won 11, with Juventus winning 10. Arsenal won 9, and Tenerife are back after they won 5 Champions Leagues. Tenerife won 5 Champions Leagues. AC Milan won 4 Champions Leagues. Leeds won 4 Champions Leagues. Liverpool won 4 Champions Leagues. Girona and Inter Milan both won 3 Champions Leagues. Brentford, Ajax and Tottenham all won 2 Champions Leagues. Brentford and Tottenham won trophies. More surprisingly Tottenham, but they won 2 Champions Leagues. Inter, Leipzig, Amiens, Lazio and Atletico Madrid all won 1 Champions League each. And some of the craziest finals we will see. Tenerife beating Bournemouth in the year 2100 in a Champions League final. Tenerife versus Bournemouth was a Champions League final. Leeds actually beat Tenerife for their Champions League in 2086 until 4 years later when Tenerife got their revenge and played Leeds again in the final, and Tenerife won in 2090. West Ham actually got to 3 Champions League finals but somehow managed to lose every single one of those finals. Really unlucky for West Ham. Not going to go through every Europa League winner because there were so many Europa League winners, but here are just some of the more interesting names that won the Europa League. So Monza won 1 Europa League, Ipswich won 6 Europa Leagues, Blackburn and Celta Vigo both won a Europa League, and Bournemouth won 7 Europa League titles, which is mental. The most surprising finals I managed to find was Bournemouth actually beat Brighton in 2095 in a final. Bournemouth and Brighton in a Europa League final. Bournemouth won 7 Europa Leagues. I don't think we will ever see that ever, at the size of that club. But maybe Bournemouth fans, you've got some future to look forward to with 7 Europa League titles. Moving on to the Conference League, and obviously that competition had so many winners, not really many repeat winners, but I've picked 4 teams out that were the most surprising names. So Sunderland won the Europa Conference League, Magdeburg won the Conference League, Puskás Academia won the Conference League, and West Brom won a Conference League. My club, West Brom, managed to win a Conference League. We were in Europe somehow. We also, I'm pretty sure, won 6 FA Cups and were one of the biggest clubs in the country at one point, but never won the Premier League. The biggest final I managed to find in this Conference League in 2048, Ipswich beat Ascoli. That was probably the weirdest final I could probably find. Conference League looks really weird. Sunderland and West Brom, both in the Championship in real life, have won Conference Leagues. I'm pretty sure Magdeburg only existed. They're an Austrian club who only were founded in 2019, and they managed to win a Conference League. And the Puskás Academia, I'm pretty sure that's probably Puskás Academy. How are they winning a Europa Conference League? I have no idea. But it happened. Let's go and have a look who did well in the countries wide. So, over in the World Cup, obviously 25 World Cups were played through in this 100 years, and it was an actual tie for the top. The first time in the save that 2 teams have tied for the most wins, and Brazil and England won 5 World Cups each. England not only won 1, 5 World Cups, and Brazil also managed to win 5 as well. They were tied. But they weren't the only 2 teams that tied. Germany won 5 as well. So 3 teams all won 5 each, with Spain being the only other team to win more than 1 as they won 2. France, Italy, Portugal, Netherlands, Uruguay all won 1 each, with the 2 shocks at the end. Japan and Wales both won a World Cup. Wales won a World Cup. Absolutely unbelievable from Wales. As for perhaps the biggest shock that I could find in terms of a final in the World Cup was that Japan beat Serbia and England, for one of their World Cup wins, beat Scotland. Imagine England and Scotland in a World Cup final. That is just, crazy. Like, anything could happen in that final. And England beat Scotland, thankfully. But there was probably mass brawls and police were probably on standby for that game. Moving on then to the European Championships, the Euros. Who won that the most times? That was Spain. Spain won it 6 times, with France, England and Germany all winning it 4 times each. Portugal, Wales both won 1 each, with Norway, Croatia and Czech Republic all winning 1 each as well. Some very different teams to win the Euros that year. The weirdest final was definitely Wales beating Ireland. How are Wales and Ireland a final in a major national tournament? Not only the Euros, Wales won a World Cup and a Euros, and they beat Ireland in the final. That's mental. And finally, we're just going to look at some interesting individual stats from some players and a certain manager. Kylian Mbappe won the most Ballon d'Ors out of every real player that we're not counting regens. He actually didn't win any outside of a certain many won a row. Kylian Mbappe won 6 Ballon d'Ors in a row and then didn't win any for the rest of his career. Erling Haaland won 10 Golden Boots, and not only just Golden Boots, he won 10 Premier League Golden Boots. So that's not counting his Bundesliga Golden Boots, or after he moved to Saudi when he went to Al Ahly. I'm not counting any of those either. He won 10 Premier League Golden Boots. Unbelievable from Erling Haaland. He ended up having a great Premier League career. But speaking of great careers, the greatest manager of all time, the top of the Hall of Fame, was Vincent Kompany. He managed to win 9 Champions Leagues. He managed Burnley, Arsenal and Man City. He won 9 Champions Leagues, 16 Premier League titles, 9 FA Cups and 12 EFL Cups. Vincent Kompany became the greatest manager of all time. So anyone doubting his move to Bayern Munich, he could become the greatest manager of all time. He won 16 Premier Leagues. He won 9 Champions Leagues. No, I don't think any manager has ever achieved that in their lives. And Vincent Kompany managed to do it with Man City and Arsenal and Burnley. He didn't win anything with Burnley apart from a championship. But he won 12 EFL Cups, 10 of those with City, 2 of those with Arsenal. He won 16 Premier Leagues. I'm pretty sure 9 were with City and 7 were with Arsenal. He won 9 Champions Leagues. I think 7 were with City, 2 were with Arsenal. And that is it. That is what football looks like in 21-23. Have you enjoyed this video? Let me know. Leave a like on the video and let me know. I will leave, if I can, I will try and leave a link to this save file so you can load it up onto your computer and just have a look through and just let me know if you find anything and let me know what I missed. Obviously, I have briefly looked over this because I could have been here for a very long time. It already took me about 2 days to actually simulate this ahead 100 years because, you know, I'm only doing it on a little laptop and it can't go, it needs its brakes, otherwise it will just blow up. So that is it for this video then. Leave a like on the video as always and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment and let me know what you want to see in the future and I will see you soon.